Hey, Dr. J here with another episode of Janine's Justifiables. And today I want to talk about friendship, right? A few days ago, I had a dream, and in the dream, I was on a train. And what I know about trains is that there's like a train, short train that gets off, stops, makes several stops. Um, People get on, get off constantly. And then there's this long train where you can go for multiple cities or even multiple states. You can go across the country um, on this long train. And so, based on how long I was on the train, I was on a long train. And so when you're on a train, one of these long trains, people typically tend to kind of sit back and look out the window and look at the scenery. So, um, usually what will happen is it will start out, you take off and you see city and maybe people from a distance and houses, and you see a lot of like activity going on. And then you're, on the train longer, and then you start getting into a wooded area, and you see a lot of trees, maybe a lot of dense area, stuff like that. But you keep on, rolling along. And then maybe at some point you might hit a tunnel, and the tunnel is underground and it gets dark, and you're under there and you're just waiting, for the train to come back up to the light. And you continue on your way. And so again, once the train comes up from the light, then from the tunnel, then you see the light and you continue on your journey, right? So then I started to, in a dream, I'm saying, well, let me take stock of who's on the train with me, because the cart that I was in was kind of empty. I saw one person over here and one person maybe sitting up front somewhere. But I'm starting to look around, and I look over to my side, and I realized that my best friend is sitting there, and I'm thinking to myself, like, how long he been sitting here? And I realized he's sitting there, right? So me and him, we start laughing and talking and cracking jokes, and like we always do. And so I woke up, and when I woke up, I started to think, like, what was that about? And then I started to ponder that train represents life's journey, right? You're on a journey and you're headed to a destination, wherever that may be. And in that journey, things take place, which I noticed on the train, is that there is like houses and civilization and people and stuff that's taking place. And those are kind of like good times in your life, right? Where you're very active, you have a community around you, maybe people, you're socializing. And then you get to a place of where it was a wooded area. And that's like things start thinning out a little bit, right? The longer you go on your journey, stuff start thinning out. And it wasn't good times, but it wasn't bad times. It's just, we live in life. And then you get to a point where you go perhaps through a tunnel where it's a period of darkness in your life, where maybe you might be struggling, or things are not going so good in your life, or you're having situations where you're just waiting for this time to pass and for you to come back out to the light. And then what I did on the train was I started to take stock of who was there, right? Who's there? And like I said, my train was kind of empty. It was one person over here and one person over there. But when I looked over and saw my friend, I realized, like, the next day when I woke up and I started pondering, I'm like, wow, he's been there with me through a lot of my life's journey, right? And so what I started to realize is that friendship is not built overnight. Not to say you can't find somebody or meet somebody and y'all hit it off immediately and they become a major part of your life, but the friendship part does not happen overnight. I have a young child, and Every week we go to, she's in swimming. Every week we go to swim practice, and she brings some other child over to me and be like, Mom, I want you to meet my best friend. And I'm like, what's your friend's name? And she's like, and then she'll look at the child and say, what's your name again? And I'm saying to myself, this ain't your best friend, right? But that makes me realize that friendship is not built in an instant. It takes time. It's proven time and time again. And so I came up with like 4 foundations of what I believe, not anybody else. This is me. This is not in the books or anything. This is just what I believe true friendship is and the foundation of it, right? I'm going to read my list. So the first thing is common interests. What common interests do you have with this person, right? Is it faith-based? Is it activity-based? Did you meet them at church, right? Were y'all part of the same reading club? Were y'all on varsity together in high school, and then it has progressed since then? So what brought y'all together in the first place? Even if they're family, right? Aside from the fact that y'all are related, what about them as a person do y'all have in common, right? My second thing is, do you trust them, right? Do you trust them with information? Do you trust them with your feelings? I ain't saying give them your social security number, right? But do you at least trust this person? Do you trust them with your kids, right? How much trust do you have in this person? Number 3, do they positively contribute to your life, right? Positively contribute, meaning they give you good information. They don't gatekeep information. They share it with you. And I ain't talking about some old, not unless y'all into that, like how to scheme on people, not unless y'all into that, but I'm talking about positively contribute to your life. Do they cheer you on when it's your time to shine, right? Are they on the sideline clapping and saying, yes, go girl, or go boy? Do they positively contribute to your life? And number 4 is, do they show up for you at your lowest point? The times in your life where it has been low and dark for you, I'm talking about those going under the tunnel and waiting for sunlight to reappear in your life. Have they shown up for you in your darkest times, right? I ain't talking about you always showing up for them. I'm talking about them showing up for you, right? When you call them and say, hey, I need your help, and they heeing and hauling about, oh, I'll call you back, and they'll never call you back, or they sending you straight the voicemail every single time when you need some help, right? Those are my 4 foundational things of a true friendship. If you have those things in your life, you are lucky. You are absolutely lucky, because everybody doesn't get that. My mom used to always say when we were growing up, if you have 1 or 2 good friends by the time you're 30 years old, you're lucky. Because people come in and out of your life like that short train. People get off, get on, get off, get off. Constant stops. But when you on that long haul train, if you got at least 1 or 2 good people that's by your side, that's going to show up for you, that's going to encourage you coming out of that tunnel when it's dark, you're lucky. And right before I started to record this video, I kept hearing the Golden Girls song in my head, right? Anybody know the Golden Girls theme? And I heard the song, and I'm not going to sing it. You certainly don't want me to do that, but I am going to repeat the lyrics for you. It says, thank you for being a friend. Travel down the road and back again. Your heart is true. You're a pal and a confidant. And if you threw a party and invited everyone you knew, you would see the biggest gift would be from me, and the card attached would say, thank you for being a friend. So shout out to my friends, my couple, not very many, but my ride or dies that have been with me on my journey. Thank you. And I'll see you on the next go round.